This series of Dharma talks explores the qualities of the three jewels. So this is actually the 8 sessions of this series. So the purpose of having this series is so that every time we chant, right, we do so with mindfulness and understanding. Because every Sunday before the Dharma talks, we do have a chanting or or puja. Yeah, when we meet physically, we also do offering, and then after that we do chanting. This chanting, this puja or this chanting is essential or is important for us to arouse our devotion and faith. So that our practice of the Dhamma or the practice of the Buddha's teaching is not so dry. Yeah? So if we have the heart component, then do regard the chanting or the puja sessions before every Dhamma talk as an important session in our scheme of Dhamma learning as well as the Dhamma practice. Yeah. So this series will help us to understand what do we chant, especially on the 3 Anussatis, Buddhanussati, Dhammanussati, which we have covered in the past 6 session, and Sanghanussati, we had covered 1 in last week, and there is another 2 more sessions today and also the next one. So only with understanding, with mindfulness, only with penetrate, we can know the real meaning, and it helps us to lead to our spiritual transformation. Yeah. So this is the purpose of the series of Buddhanussati, Dhammanussati, and Sanghanussati. So whenever we chant Iti Piso Bhagava Arahang Sama Sambuddho, we know what is that all about. Not just mere reciting the words. So if we are familiar, we have already familiar with the words, then it is time we delve into the meaning as well as the Dhamma behind all those words. Okay. Hold on, let me pause a bit to see anything. Okay, right. All right. Last week, let's have a little time for revision. Yeah. Last week, Venerable Ananda, sorry, not Venerable, we promoted you. So Brother Ananda has actually explained the meaning of Sangha Anusati as well as the 4 qualities of Sangha. Yeah. This Sangha Anusati. Sangha literally it means community. Without any religion, community or multitude or assemblage, the word Sangha itself. Yeah. Anusati means recollections or remembrance. But conventionally, Sangha, all right, is used senses in 2 ways. Yeah. One is Samuti Sangha, another one is Arya Sangha. Samuti means conventional, constitutional Sangha, which refers to monastic order, consisting of bhikkhus, bhikkhunis, monks or nuns, noble or ordinary, those who have attained to the sainthood and who haven't attained to the sainthood. They are all grouped under Samuti Sangha, conventional Sangha or institute Sangha. Another way the word Sangha is used conventionally is Arya Sangha. the community of noble ones, which consists of the 8 types of noble persons, monastic or lay, which we are going to share later on. And these 4 paths are grouped into 8 types of attain to the path and fruitions. Yeah, they are no longer called the ordinary, or they are no longer called the worldlings, but they are the noble ones. So the 8 types of individuals, and these 8 types are grouped into 4 paths. So when we use the term Sangha, conventionally, they refers to these 2, Samuti Sangha, which refers to the monastics, monks, nuns, bhikkhus, and bhikkhunis, and also Arya Sangha. Okay. Then next, there is another term that you may also hear or you may also know, called Jatuparisa. Jatuparisa means 4-fold assembly. So when you hear the term Jatuparisa, then 4 assemblies, 4-fold assembly of people shall come into our mind. The monastic and also the laity. Bhikkhu, bhikkhunis, for laity, laymen, it is called upasaka, and for laywomen, it is called upasika. So upasaka and upasika are those who sit close by. Yeah, those who really pay attention and also honors in real sense the 3 jewels. So these are the 4-fold assembly. Okay, so Sangha and Jatuparisa, you may hear these terminologies quite often. Yeah. So just to recap what Brother Ananda has shared with us last week. And he also shared with us these 4 qualities of the Sangha. So when we use the Sangha here, it means conventional and also the Arya Sangha, Samuti Sangha and also the Arya Sangha. So there is this Supatipano of good conduct, Uju Patipano of upright conduct, Nyaya Patipano of wise conduct, and Samichi Patipano of dutiful conduct. Now these are the translation of which you are familiar. If you attend our weekly Sunday service, this is the translation that we adopt. Yeah, Supatipano of good conduct. So what does it mean by good conduct? It means that the conduct, behavior, characters, and way of life, even the discipline, which are good, meaningful, useful, and harmless, as well as respectful. Yeah, so the word good conduct. Uju Patipano, Uju upright. So Patipano, upright conduct. What is the upright conduct? Conduct which are straight, not crooked, or honest, not deceitful. Okay, Uju Patipano. Nyaya Patipano means a wise conduct. Means ones who act wisely with proper understanding in terms of cause and conditions, cause and effect, for noble truth, right? Threefold training, attaining nibbana, liberation from suffering. Okay, Nyaya Patipano, wise conduct. Samichi Patipano, our translation is a dutiful conduct. Conduct oneself dutifully with right and proper course of life. Okay, for example, if someone who has observed precepts and disciplines and have gained knowledge and understanding, then dutifully he or she imparts the knowledge to others, so that others will also know the teachings of, right? and of course, in understanding the truth of life, right? In another word, also, this group of person also carry on with the mission of the Buddha. Yeah, dutiful conduct. So samichi patipanno. Okay, so this were covered last week. So this week we will continue with a few more. Okay. Yadidang chattari purisa yugani atta purisa buggala esa bhagavato savaka sangho. So of the Buddha, consisting these 4 pairs of persons and 8 types of individuals. Okay, the next week, another speaker will cover on worthy of offering, worthy of hospitality. So these 8 types of 8 individuals, right, and also 4 pairs of persons are worthy of offerings and hospitality and so on and so forth. Okay, so today we are going to share about who are these 8 types of individuals, okay, and 4 pairs of persons. Now, this is considered as Arya Sangha. When you see the terms 8 types of individuals and 4 pairs of persons, yeah, they are grouped under Arya Sangha or Noble Sangha, who have attainment. Okay, attainment to either one of the 4 stages of awakening. So the 2 members of each pair are the one who has attained to the fruition and the one who has entered the path, Magga and Phala, right? So the 8 types of individuals are these 8: stream enterer, and the one the stream enterer, the one practicing for realization of the fruit of stream entry is Magga. So these are considered as one pair, right? The second pair is consisting of the Phala and the Magga, another stage of attainment called the once returner, and the one practicing for realization of the fruit of once returning. The third pair is non-returner, and the one who is practicing for realizing the fruit of non-returning. And the fourth pair is the Arahat, the one practicing for realization of the fruit of Arahatship. Yeah, so 8 individuals and 4 pairs of noble persons. So this corresponds to the 4 stages of awakening, or we call it enlightenment. Full enlightenment, Arahata; non-returning, Anagami; once returning, Sagadagami; stream entry, Sotappatti. And those 8 types of individuals and 4 pairs of persons, they are considered, or they are grouped under Arya Sangha. Okay, Arya, noble. So they are the noble ones. Okay? For us who haven't attained to any stage of enlightenment, yeah, the list is stream entry. The list. And then moving on forward, it is one returning, non-returning, and the full enlightenment, it is Arahant, or the stage is called Arahata. So for those of us who haven't attained to the stream entry, we are all grouped under enlightened worldlings, or Putujana. Yeah, Putujana, unenlightened worldlings, or in Pali, it is called Anarya. Arya is noble. Anarya is not noble yet. Okay. Now, let's look at these 4 stages of awakening. What does it mean by stages of awakening? Now, these stages of awakening or enlightenment are distinguished by the factors that they eliminate and the number of rebirths that remain for those who attain them. Meaning that the 4 stages of awakening, starting with stream entry, then followed by once returning, non-returning, and also the full enlightenment. Now, they are distinguished by the factors, that each individual eliminate or abandon totally, as well as the number of rebirth into the sensual worlds, or in Pali it is called karma loka, right? How many times they return to karma loka before they gain full liberation from it, meaning that they are out of the samsara, no more coming back to this world. Okay, right? So these 4 stages of awakening are distinguished by these 2, mainly by these 2 factors that have been eliminated, as well as how many lifetimes that they come back to these sensual worlds or karma loka. Okay. Now, before we go into that, let's familiar also with the factors. Okay. So the factors that are categorized into 2 groups. One is called, there are 5 lower factors and 5 higher factors. So the 5 lower factors, individuality view, or in Pali, probably you are more familiar with it, it's called Sakkaya Ditthi, is the view, personality view, or individuality view. Okay, skeptical doubt, vicikicca, attachment to rites and rituals, sila, bata, paramasa, sensual desires, kamachanda, desire towards sensual objects, vyapada, ill will. So these 5 are considered as 5 lower factors, which can be eliminated by 3 attainments. Okay, but for 5 higher factors, it can only be abandoned when one attains to arahathood. Lust for form, lust for formless, conceit, right? Restlessness, cannot stay still, restless, the mind is restless, and ignorance. Okay? So these 5 higher factors can only be eliminated when one attains to arahathood. Okay, so now let's go into the individual stage of enlightenment or awakening. Okay. All right. Sotapanna. This is the individual who has attained to the stage of awakening called Sotapatti. Okay, or we call it stream enterer. Stream enterer. Sota means upon. Okay, so Sotapanna means someone who has entered the stream. So the stream here means what? It is none other than the Noble Eightfold Path, right? Stream enterer, when someone has entered into the stream will bring the stream. Once you enter the stream, there is no turning back, but it will go all the way until full liberation of arahathood is attained. So once you are in the stream, then that is a guarantee of full liberation. But for those who are not in the stream yet, then there is no guarantee. No matter how good our practice that we perceive, right, we will always fall back. But for someone who has entered the stream called Sottapana, stream enterer, right, they are only subjected to maximum of 7 lifetime, 7 more lives, either in human realm or Deva realm. These 2 realms are grouped under the central walls. Okay, so Sottapana have destroyed or abandoned these 3 lower factors. They have no more view on personality. Okay, so Sakayaditi. It means that that the belief of self, the belief or the view that there is this self that governs life is already abandoned, right? Or the belief of soul after death is also being abandoned or destroyed. They have no more this kind of a view. Okay. Now this view comes about, the origination of this view, of this personality view, is because of our craving, right? We view the form as the person. We view this form as ourselves. We view the feeling as ourselves, right? We view our perception as ourselves. We view volitional formation as self. And of course, in the more subtle form is the consciousness. So because of we regard form, the feeling, form is the body, bodily formation, verbal formation, and mental formation. Feelings, perceptions. Now, when we regard all these as I, so the view of personality is being strengthened every time if we have this view. Okay, and this view, the origination of this view is because of our craving. When there is a craving to the body, when there is a craving to the pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, even unpleasant feeling, don't be shocked. And it will turn into a more stronger one on attachment. Then from attachment, it will become. This is a part of the dependent origination, the 12 links. Okay. So personality views originate from craving, right? So when we can look into our own way of life, right? Every day, how many times per day that we have strengthened the view of self? I want this, I need this, I told you to do this. Everything, I. So the self, the view of is being strengthened every time when we emphasize on me. Right? So this is individuality view. But upon the attainment of Sottapatti, this view is destroyed. The view, only the belief and the view is destroyed. Okay? Skeptical doubt or vicikicca. This is referring to the doubts on the Buddha, the enlightenment of the Buddha, Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha, as well as the practicing community of the Buddha, of which we call Sangha. Yeah, and also the training to become the noble ones. Okay, as well as the dependent origination. So the doubts on all these aspects will be abandoned when one attains to Sotapanna or when one is a Sotapanna. So they will have unwavering confidence. Somehow they will have unwavering confidence in the Buddha, in the Dharma, and the Sangha, as well as the training. They have no more doubt. Okay. Now, the next one is attachment to rites and rituals. Sila Bhatta Paramasa. Attachment to rites and rituals is the practices that we do it very frequently, but it doesn't, and it doesn't help us in, we just merely do it because someone asks us to do it, or we believe that it will help us to purify ourselves. Okay, attachment to rites and rituals. Now, for example, when we look up the suttas, right, or certain practices that we can see, even in today's, not just last time in India, but now today's, not just in India, but many parts of the world, people are still following rites and rituals, thinking that it will help us to release ourselves from suffering if we follow this step, if we follow this, or it will help us to purify ourselves and make ourselves to be united with the higher beings. Okay, like for example, river and bathe in the river or soak oneself in the river, thinking that with this kind of act every year, it will help to clean ourselves spiritually. Okay, now that was actually a joke, I think by Reverend, probably Chief Reverend. I think probably I first heard it from Chief Reverend. The late Chief Reverend, the late Chief Venerable Kesri Dhammananda. He said that, so what do you think about all those fishes in the river? They are more purer than us because they are all along, all the while in the river or in the sea. So they are more purer than all of us. We are only soaking in the river or in the ocean once a year, but they all along, all the while. So that's a joke, right? And another examples of these rites and rituals are those sacrifice. They need to sacrifice certain animals every year, all right, so that they can get rid of ill omen from ill omen. They can get rid of themselves from ill omens. Yeah. So all these are rites and rituals that we follow frequently, but we don't understand that why do we do it. Same with offering. If we are just carrying out the act of offering, offer food, offer incense, offer lamb, thinking that the Buddha will protect me by offering fruit to the Buddha, that is also considered as rites and rituals. And if we attach to it, it will become a fetus. That is why it is emphasized in the Dharma learning and also Dharma practice that we have to understand, why do we do all these offerings? There is a symbolic meaning to it. Okay, why do we offer lamb? Why do we offer fruits? Why do we offer flower? Right? It is not bribery. We don't bribe the Buddha, we don't bribe the Sangha so that they can give us protection. It is not this kind of understanding that will help us in our spiritual path for liberation. Okay. So for a Sotapanna, one who has entered into the Noble Eightfold Path, they have the right view. Yeah, Noble Eightfold Path start with right view, right thought, and so on and so forth. Okay. So Sotapanna is someone who has destroyed or abandoned these three lower factors. no more the view of personality or individuality view. Okay, no more doubt towards the Buddha, his enlightenment, the Buddha's teaching, the Dhamma, as well as the community of the Sangha who are practicing for the liberation, as well as the training itself. Yeah, as well as they are no longer attached to rites and rituals. So these are some what is that now? Characteristics in terms of factors that this Sotapanna can eliminate. Okay, and in terms of number of rebirth, they can be reborn maximum 7 more lifetimes in central worlds or Kama Loka. Kama Loka can mean human realm, Deva realms, and they will no longer take birth or take rebirth in woeful states, in hell, in animal kingdom, Peta, Asura. Someone who has attained to Sotapatti will no longer be reborn in the woeful states: hell, animal, Peta, and Asura. So even though before he attained to Sotapatti, he may do something not wholesome, yeah, and may be if they did not attain to Sotapatti, they may be reborn in animal realm or hell realm. But if they put in so much effort, or if they are matured spiritually and they attain to Sotapatti, all those karma vipaka will be defunct, will not be functional. So they will not be subjected to rebirth in all those woeful states. Okay, right? So this is Sotapatti. So if we have some more time, then we can explain a little bit more on Sotapatti. So because this is the nearer that we can attain to, Sotapatti. The next one is Sakadagami. All right, Sakadagami is the second stage of sainthood, or is called once returning, or the person is called once returner. With the destruction of three fetters have been eliminated upon attaining Sotapatti. Upon attaining Sakadagami, sensual desire and ill will be attenuated, or the strength of these two fetters will be very, very much reduced upon attaining Sakadagami. All right, meaning that they still have sensual desires and ill wills, but the strength is not as strong as the first stage of sainthood, or is very much reduced, even though there are still sensual desires and ill will in Sakadagami, in one's returner, okay, which corresponds to greed, hatred, and delusion. That is in terms of fetters. But in terms of rebirth in Kama Loka, they return only one time to the sensual world, either human world or Deva realm, only one time, maximum one time. So the expiry date in samsara is shortened. Compared with Sotapanna, the expiry date is 7 lifetimes. It's considered extremely short already. If we look at the journey of samsara, of which we cannot count, really cannot count how many lifetimes we still have in samsara, uncountable. But once we attain to Sotapatti, that is the first glimpse of Nibbana. Someone who has entered into the stream, the path of Noble Eightfold Path, right? The expiry date in samsara is guaranteed. The most 7 lifetime, 7, right? For Sakadagami, shorter, only 1 lifetime back to the sensual world, and thereafter they will gain enlightenment, all right, not coming back to sensual world. Okay, so sensual desires, I believe that for those who are following Sunday service very frequently will know, yeah, those desires that arising from having contact with forms, having contact with sensual objects. What are the sensual objects? Our eyes make in contact with objects, okay, visual objects. Nose, right, smell, okay, hear sounds, musics. So all these are sensual objects. So when desires being aroused because of the contact with the sensual objects, then many a times, or most of the time, as worldlings, we have craving to eat. We want it more, all right? Or sometimes we don't want it. So this is also part of type of craving. We want it or we don't want it. Also part of craving. Yeah. So sensual desires, not easy to be eliminated. It can be eliminated or it can be reduced, very much reduced upon Sakadagami, and it is fully eliminated upon attaining Anagami. Okay, we can explain later. Then another one, ill will. Ill will is from anger. Anger turns into hatred, and from hatred turns into ill will. So if someone is with ill will, right, it is to the extent that one want to see the other party, the other persons or the other being, see the end of life of other beings, to that extent of having this ill will. Yeah, anger turn into hatred, hatred turn into ill will. And when someone has this ill will, the extent is wishing others ill, even death. Yeah, so this vyapada is a very dangerous, very dangerous. Okay, so these two are attenuated upon Sakadagami. Okay, then the next stage is Anagami. Anagami is called non-returner or non-returning. The stage is non-returning. So for this Anagami, they successfully destroy all these 5 lower factors. Even sensual desires and ill will, they have fully eradicated. Now, because they have no more desire, right, by this momentum, they are usually reborn in the form realm, or we call it pure abode. Okay, Suddhavasa. In the Pali, it's called Suddhavasa. And from there, they attain final liberation without ever returning to the sensual world, Kamaloka, right? So they will no longer return to sensual world. Once they pass away, even though as a human, even though they are in a human realm, but once they attain to Anagami, and when they pass away, right, they will not be reborn in sensual world, but they will be reborn in pure abodes. And then from there, the attain final liberation. Okay, that's why it is being called as Anagami. Okay, then the highest stage is Arahant. Arahant is the complete destruction of all factors. Okay, Anagami has destroy the 5 lower factors. And Arahant, they further destroy 5 higher factors. Last for form, last for form, formless. Now these two, right, mainly refers to the meditative stage. When someone is in a higher meditative stage, right, they crave for formless, they crave for form and formless attainment. Okay, they have this desire that they want to stay there, Brahma realm. Okay, so the lust or the desire for this meditative stage, especially when Rupa Raga and Arupa Raga is referred to. Then conceit. Conceit can only be eliminated upon attaining Arahathood. Now, conceit is different from Sakkaya Ditthi. Sakkaya Ditthi is the view, the personality view. Okay, the view on personality is totally eradicated upon attaining Sotapaddi. But the sense of self, which is very deep-rooted, even though the view is fully purified, but that sense, the deep-rooted sense, is still there. Right? I am this, I am that. Okay? The pride, it is deep-rooted. That sense of I am, I, mine, right? It is still there, even though the view is eradicated, but the sense is remain until one attaining Arahathood. Then this factor can only be fully eradicated. Conceit. Restlessness. Restlessness because many a time, one is in contact with sense objects. With the contact, it leads to proliferation of the mind. Okay, and the mind usually cannot stay still. Right? It's restless. The mind take control. Right? So this restlessness can only be eradicated when someone attain to Arahathood or a fully liberated one. And of course, the final one is ignorance. Ignorance. The ignorance of the truth of life, ignorance of Four Noble Truths, ignorance of the deep-rooted defilements, the ignorance about the 3 characteristics of life, about anicca, dukkha, anatta. So the fully eradicated ignorance can only be attained upon Arahathood. Right? So this is the complete destructions of the things. So when one has fully eradicated the 10 factors, then this person is considered a fully enlightened one, Arahant. Okay, right? So anyone has interest actually to practice towards this kind of attainment? Anyone? Okay, I think you can ponder a bit about it now. Yes, good that you have this understanding. Now, I also want to share with you. Hold on now. Okay, I also want to share with you some examples of the disciples of the Buddha who have attained to all these stages of enlightenment. Now, do you know Lady Vishaka and also the householder Anathapindika? The great benefactors of the Buddha as well as the monastic. Now they are stream enterer. Lady Vishaka and also the Anathapindika, they are stream enterer. You can actually read up the biography in the book called The Disciples of the Buddha. Now, it is good also to read up all those biography to gain some inspiration on how they live before they attaining to the first stage of sainthood. Yeah, how do they live? How do they conduct themselves? And after they have attained to the sainthood, and how do they conduct themselves? Okay, maybe I want to quote another two examples. This Lady Uttara and Sirima. Can you probably recall some the incidents of Lady Uttara and also Sirima? Remember that this Lady Uttara was married into a family of non-believer, and she was very unpleasant or not happy living in a household where she couldn't pay homage to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. And she also couldn't offer dana to the Sangha members. Yeah, because the household that she married into is a non-believer of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So she was very unhappy. So the Buddha knew, her father knew about it, and the father actually suggested her to bring in a courtesan in India at the time. Yeah, courtesan. So Lady Uttara agreed to the proposal from her father, her biological father. So Lady Uttara brought in a courtesan called Sirima to accompany her husband for 2 weeks, to attend to her husband for 2 weeks as a host in the household. Okay, so that she herself can do whatever she wants to honor the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha. So during these 2 weeks, right, this Rima attended to her husband as the host of the house. The husband agreed to it, and this Lady Uttara is free to offer dana every day, and invited the Buddha and the monastics to her house and offer dana every week, these 2 weeks for 14 days. So on one of the day, because of certain act of this Lady Uttara, which is not conscious, it makes Sirima thought that the husband and this Lady Uttara was still very intimate. Yeah, Sirima has the wrong idea that she is the host. In fact, she is not the host. She is just temporary attending to the husband. But because of the pride, right? Because of the ego, so she has the bad thought of Lady Uttara at the point of time when she was in the kitchen preparing for meal. So Sirima was engulfed with anger and also engulfed with jealousy. Yeah. So she took a ladle full of boiling water and splashed on Lady Uttara. When Lady Uttara see the action, she thought of this Sirima, that she has a lot of gratitude and appreciation towards this Sirima, because with her presence attending to her husband, she has the opportunity to serve the Buddha for 2 weeks. Yeah, she is full of gratitude and she has no ill will towards this Sirima at that time. So when Sirima poured the boiling oil on Lady Uttara, it's like pouring cold water. So the hot oil, the boiling oil, did not hurt Lady Uttara. Now, when the second time Sirima wants to do that, right, it was intervened by the maid. And Lady Uttara also go and help the maid back, because the maid want to beat Sirima. So when Sirima saw this, right, she was suddenly taken aback and was suddenly realized that what wrong have I done? She suddenly realized that she was not the host of the family. She was just a courtesan. being brought in for 2 weeks to attend to the husband. So this realization suddenly dawned upon her. So she fell down and wanted to ask forgiveness from Uttara, Lady Uttara. Lady Uttara said, wait, let me bring you to see my father. So the father that Lady Uttara, so the next day when the Buddha came to the house, when Lady Uttara offered the dana, so the Buddha know all this account from Lady Uttara, and then Sirima actually knelt down and seek for forgiveness. And the Buddha also know that Sirima at that time did not bear any hatred or any ill will towards this Lady Sirima. Now, at that point of time, when the Buddha gave a discourse after the asking for forgiveness, right? After the meal, after asking for forgiveness, and the Buddha gave a discourse. Now, upon the completion of the discourse, right, Lady Uttara non-return, the once returner, Sakadagami. Yeah, she attained to the second stage of sainthood, Sakadagami. Now, do you know that her family, the husband's family, her husband, who is a non-believer, and her parents-in-law, who were also the non-believer, do you know what? They also attained to the stream and tree. And Sirima also attained to stream and tree. Okay, so when I read this, right, I realize the beautiful of truth. It's not confined to Buddhists. Yeah, it's not confined to anyone. But when one's mind is fully matured, when the conditions is right, then we have the ability to attain the sainthood. Yeah, we have the ability to see the mind is being transformed. Right? See that? I think it's very inspired. It's very inspiring to know that the non-believer husband and the parents-in-law, right, also attain stream entry upon listening to the Buddha. Okay. Now another story of maybe you're also familiar. You know, maybe you have heard also. The Queen Samawati and Magandiya. Okay, the queen, this Samawati married to the king of Kausambi, King Udena, right? And she has a maid, Kujatara. Okay, remember this Kujatara, old lady, old maid, and every day Samawati, Queen Samawati will give this Kujatara, the maid, 8 coins to go and buy flowers. But this Kujatara, right, will only buy flowers for 4 coins, and the other 4 coins she will keep. So it's considered theft. Yeah. So this has gone on for some time. So one day when she went to the florist at that time, right, so happened have invited the monk or the Buddha to the florist place for a meal and for a sermon. So Kujatara also stayed for the meal and for the talk, for the sermon by the Buddha. So she was totally absorbed into the sermon by the Buddha, totally absorbed with total concentration, no distracting thoughts. So at the end of the thoughts, what happened to her? She attained to the stream entry. She is the Sotapanna. So when she has that, right, she actually doesn't know, because there is no one has actually told her that, oh, you are now the Sotapanna. She doesn't know, but she just know that she has this great transformation in her. She has unwavering confidence in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. She just know that. And upon attaining to this transformation, right, in her, she can no longer do the unwholesome, the stealing of the 4 coins, right? She can no longer do that continuously. So immediately she also buy flowers with the remaining 4 coins that she has taken earlier. And this Queen Samawati was quite shocked. Hey, how come today so much flowers compared with previously? So she immediately admitted her wrongdoing. Yeah. So someone who has attained to sort of continue to do the wrongdoing, they will immediately admit to it and will amend the wrongdoing. So this is the characteristics or the attributes of someone who has attained to sotapan at least. So it is quite inspiring to learn that or to read that. So I actually encourage you, right, to read up the biography of the disciples of the Buddha. Right, Arahant, we know there are many. Venerable Sariputta, the biography. Venerable Moggallana, the biography. Right, go and read up and get some inspiration, especially if one being overcome by dullness, drowsiness, laziness, all right, dullness in mind. Now, good to read all these things or recall to our mind Buddhanussati, Dhammanussati, Sanghanussati. Now, by recalling all these, the qualities, the 8 types of persons, the four paths, right? It gives us inspiration. It strengthens our faith. Now, that is energy, which will help us to continue our journey in learning and in practicing the Dhamma. Okay, so I encourage you to continue with this journey. Okay, so wait, let's go to a few more slides, I think. Right, now, Dhamma eyes. When you read some paragraph, right, you will also see the words Dhamma eyes. In one of the suttas in Anguttara Nikaya 3.94, it is said that it's like autumn when the sky is clear. It's like in the autumn, the sky is clear, cloudless. And when one is attaining the sotapanna, then the stop phrase, dust-free, stainless, Dhamma eyes arises in the noble disciples. Then together with the arising of vision, the noble disciple abandons 3 fetters. So these are the 3 fetters being abandoned. Dhamma Chakku. Yeah, when this vision has arisen, then it has the function to cut off these 3 fetters. That is upon attaining Sotapatti. Okay, so the Dhamma eyes arises. What does the Dhamma eye see? It says that whatever is subject to arising is all subject to cessation. When you read the biography of the Buddha, right, the life story of the Buddha, you can also see this stop phrase. When Venerable Asaji gave the Dhamma exposition to Sariputta, or when the Buddha gave the discourse on the Four Noble Truths to the 4 disciples, okay, and Venerable Kondanya has the Dhamma eyes arisen. Okay, so all this happening with all this, the arisen of Dhamma eyes, because they have attend very wisely and with total attention to, oh, this is the origin of suffering. This is the cessation of suffering. This is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. And of course, the Four Noble Truths. So they attend wisely to it, and the reason of Dhamma eyes with the insight into the causal principles, right? Then they have the function to cut off the 3 factors: personality view, Sakkaya Ditthi, skeptical doubt, Vicikicca, and also Silabata Paramasa. Okay, so when one sees this, direct seeing, then one has attained to the Sotapatti. He or she has attained to the stream or to the Noble Eightfold Path. Now, I also want to let you know or share with you that for stream enterer, Sakadagami and Anagami, there are examples in the life story of the Buddha that they are householder. They are like us, attending to daily chores and daily routines, and they can attain to the third stage of sainthood, which is Anagami. So the examples of Anagami in householder, as a householder, is a householder Chitta of Machikasanda, and also the Hataka from Alavi. So these are two examples of Anagami who are still in as a layman, householder. Okay, but if one has attained to Arahathood, he can no longer in household life. The momentum itself doesn't allow him or her to continue to stay in as a householder. So they will either immediately pass into Nibbana, or they will go forth. They will don the robe and go forth, right? Because the householder life really cannot sustain their life. Yeah, but Anagami still fine, still okay. Yeah, they can still in the householder's lifestyle. Okay, so as practitioners, yeah, we also encourage everyone to strive forward. Okay, right. So this one I have mentioned to you just now, shared with you just now. Unwavering confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and they have a virtuous behavior, right, which is not blemished, which is not tarnished, and it will lead all the way to concentration. Okay. Now also remember that stream enterer, Sakadagami and Anagami, the work is not done yet. Okay, because there are still full enlightenment to be attained. So Sotapan, Sakadagami and Anagami, they are still considered as a trainer. A trainee who is undergoing training, because the work has not been done, has not been completed. Okay, they still need to work towards full liberation. But someone who has attained to Arahathood, they are considered as a Sikha, right? No longer subjected to training because they have done what has to be done. They have gone through the training which they have to go through. They have completed their task. Okay, so I think now it's 11. All right, so this is one probably the one last slide. Factors for stream entry. Now, the practice of the Dhamma, the practice of the Buddha's teaching is not for us to take up something. Remember that. It's not for us to become or to be something or someone. Okay, the practice of Dhamma is always leading to dispassion, to letting go. Okay, now even though just now we mentioned about Sotapan, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arhat, they are all conventional terms. Okay, but the actual fact is actually the real transformation in the mind. Is the transformation, is the spiritual maturity which is happening in that particular person, so-called person, conventional term. Okay. Now, when we read the suttas, or when we read, we see that how come they very easily someone can attain to stream entry, right? Like seems very easy. After one talk, then they can just attain to stream entry. But no, when we really read the biography, right, we know that they have been doing all those groundwork, all this preparatory work for very, very long time. Even this Chitta, the householder, who have attended to, who was the Anagami during the Buddha's dispensation, the Buddha's dispensation, right? Even though she was attained to the Anagami, right? In actual fact, in one of his past life, right, he was the attendant of a bodhisattva. And for also many lifetimes, he has been practicing. So he has actually prepared himself for long time. Okay, for us as well. Okay, we can also take into all this account and prepare ourselves for spiritual maturity. We may not know when or how, but it doesn't stop us from preparing. Okay, it is a marathon, it's not a sprint. Right? It needs a lot of stamina. Now, to build stamina, okay. Now to build stamina as practitioner, we can follow this. So in the Sariputta Sutta from Samyutta Nikaya, the Buddha asked Venerable Sariputta, what are the factors for stream entry? So there are these four: association with people of integrity, listening to true Dhamma, and with appropriate attention, and practice in accordance with the Dhamma. So these are the four preparatory works that we can do in order, to see the transformation in us, the real transformation from Anarya to Arya. Okay, if this can be another Dhamma talk, yeah. So this one we leave it to other time. For you who are interested, I hope that we are all interested, right, to see the real transformation, to enter into the stream and not just stay at the bank, right, of the river, but to really enter in the stream, which will bring us all the way, no turning back, but all the way to the final liberation from suffering. Yeah. So with that, I wish you well and continue to strive on until liberation is attained. Thank you very much.